What's up, heroes? My name is Sylarclone, and welcome back to Crystalline. So, the next morning, we meet Gingalain bright and early downstairs of the inn, on our way to the water temple. He leads us towards the city exit, and soon we return to familiar roads. Our path takes us along the beach for a short while. The white sands glitter beneath the sunlight and filter annoyingly into our shoes. That's always the worst when you get sand in your shoes. So usually when I go to the beach, I just kick off my shoes and leave them in the car. Eventually, we return to flat dirt roads and travel late into dusk. When the sun is finally creeping below the horizon, we stop a bit off the main path into a grove of trees to make camp. After the fire is lit, the savory perfume of dinner makes my stomach growl. We all gather together as we serve out the food. Kara sits close to Zack during dinner, per usual. Now, her arm brushing against his whenever she takes a bite of food. I catch Zack glancing at her every once in a while before quickly looking away. Still a little embarrassed that he's got these feelings for and doesn't want us to know, but, you know, much like Leanna, I'm sure he'll come around. Eventually. I hope. Leanna scoots closer to Gingalain, still in fangirl mode.
So, Gingalain, can you tell us some more stories?
He chuckles.
Oh, I don't know.
Do it, man. I want to know what they got. Leanna squirms.
Please?
Oh, she is fangirling so hard right now. She moves even closer. Her eyes glitter with a kind of excitement I usually associate with small children.
We'd love to hear one.
I know I certainly would. Emilia takes a tiny bite and then nods. It's about as much of an answer we're getting out of her.
Perhaps one which is not as widely known.
A good request. Leanna beams at Gingalain.
Well, if that's what you wish, how can I refuse?
You gotta pass the time somehow, and I'm sure he's eager to tell his stories. There's a heavy pause. After a moment, Gingalain takes a deep breath.
I loved a shadowcaster.
His voice was low and sad.
I loved how her giggles shimmered with silver. I loved her moonlit hair, her star-flecked fingers. Together we wished, we teased, we played. She covered me in twilight, in soft murmurs and rain. I'll show you, my sweetling, she whispered, she soothed. My friends and their shadow magic are just misunderstood. But, little by little, her mind turned to dark flowers and violent meteor showers. Shadows poured from her mouth. She spat, she swore, she roared, splattering me with ink, with oil and ore. The night was too strong, too much underneath her skin. It flared from her fingers, her shoulders, her rings. She tore apart our friendship, our home, our dreams. Surely, her friends, dishonest and cruel, surely she had me fooled.
Gingalain pauses. For a moment, I'm not sure if he's going to continue. I'm really wrapped up in the story.
I joined them and discovered too late the mistake I had made. They had been wrong, not her. She was trying to save them, to keep their magic pure. But the shadows, they whispered, they crawled and lingered. She fell into my arms, light as mist. Her power wreathed about her neck, her chest, her wrists. As she sobbed, she whimpered, "Please, take me with you. We'll cuddle in our garden of auroras. We'll build a house of starlight, of everything lovely and bright." But there was nothing I could do. She faded into twilight, into smoke and wind. I'm left with nothing but the memory of her left on my skin.
Holy shit. Wow. That was really well done. That's such a sad story. Holy crap. There's a thick silence, the weight of his story still hanging in the air. The moonlight casts over Gingalain's silver hair and beard, bringing out the dark shadows across his face. The fire crackles and pops. Finally, Gingalain bows his head.
Thank thank you for listening to my tale.
That was a fantastic tale, and the scary part is he takes these all from real-life inspirations. He said that when we first met him, and even when Leanna and Amelia were talking about him too. They're all tales he's experienced. I wonder what the backstory is to this one. Maybe we'll find out. Leanna's eyes shimmer with tears.
That was so beautiful.
Gingalain smiles, but it doesn't quite reach his eyes.
Thank you.
But it was also so sad.
That was heartbreaking. It was okay. This weaselly old man is using poetry to steal my girl. Well, no, he's not. He's telling a story, and that was more than just okay. That was heartbreaking. That's a rough tale. My heart caves in my chest. Wow. That's such a horrible thing to go through. I tried to imagine watching someone I love slowly deteriorate into madness. It couldn't have been easy. And then not having the power to be able to help or stop it. My heart goes out to whoever this was. It was beautifully written. Gingalain looks up at me. His smile is small and sad, and I think I see gratitude in his eyes. Does this story have to do with him? Methinks so. He nods.
Thank you.
Soon after we finish eating, Gingalain leaves to refill his canteen with water from a nearby stream. Leanna and Amelia go out into the field, but I'm not too certain what it is that they're doing. Zack and Kara clean up and seem very content to do so without my help.
Oh, that looks fun.
What? I look up. Gingalain is standing there, retying his canteens to his belt. What does? He nods towards Leanna and Amelia. I follow his gaze to see them practicing magic out in the field, and they're doing it without me. My feelings are hurt again. Amelia waves her hand and sends a small flurry of ice across the grass. The Pongo grins, hopping up and down with excitement.
Boy!
He bounces after it, making Leanna giggle. Her manipulator pulses blue, and a small gust of wind breathes out from underneath him, making him hover above the ground.
It's okay. I got you.
Leanna's breeze glides him along above the grass, steady and strong. The Pongo's eyes light up.
Boy!
He's having a time of his life. Leanna beams. She continues to push the Pongo along, gathering speed and momentum. She makes him soar across the grass, and he lets out a loud squeak of delight. Amelia spirals more and more ice and snow, her magic trailing behind the Pongo and glittering like the tail of a shooting star. Gingalain sits down beside me.
When I first met you, I felt like I could sense some magic within you, too.
Is that so now? I mean, I have a manipulator, so that would make sense. Gingalain studies me. His eyes seem to stare deep within me, as if trying to unmask my secrets. Get away! Get out! I shift underneath his gaze. Does he already know about me? That would be incredibly impressive. Nah, I'm just being paranoid. Shaking the thought out of my head, I smile at Gingalain, who returns my grin. His eyes crinkle warmly as he smiles.
Admittedly, I'm curious to know more about you. Perhaps I could dedicate a whole verse about you and your adventures.
You'd do that for me? Gingalain senpai, really? A verse? About me? He nods again, his smile bright and excited.
Where is it you hail from?
Isaria? Question mark.
Yes, but where in Asaria?
Crap. We should have thought about this. Somewhere far away. Small place. You wouldn't know it.
Try me. I am fairly well traveled.
Yeah, he might be calling us out in this bluff. Leanna, dear, help me. I rack my brain for the name of a city or a place. Any name. I'm from New York, the magical school of Hagwarts, barren lands of Winterfall. What do we do here? Magical School of Hogwarts. That's just funny. You know what? I'll go with it just because he senses some magic. We'll see what we can do with it. The Magical School of Hogwarts. Actually, I'm from Hogwarts. Gingalain furrows his brows.
Hagwarts?
Yes. I nod. Yeah, it's a pretty magical place. Terrible pun is terrible.
How so?
Why do you make me elaborate? It's very secluded and surrounded by nature.
How odd. I haven't heard of it.
He fixes me with that same stare, and once again I feel the anxiety rise within me. Does he know I'm lying? Probably. Gingalain's smile falters, but he doesn't press me.
Did you leave to study at the Mage Academy?
Yes, that's totally what I did. Leanna taught me. Ooh. Well, how do we go about this one? You know what? We'll give him the truth on this one. Let's mix it up. Go with a lie straight to the truth. Leanna taught me. Oh, well, kinda. Not exactly. Leanna taught me everything I know.
Oh, are you training to be a Mage-Knight as well?
Kind of. She's been training me in both casting technique and sword fighting. He nods.
I see. And how long have you been training with her?
How long have I been on Terra? It feels like years, but I couldn't have been more than a few months. For a little bit, I guess.
Well, you must have a very high aptitude for magic indeed.
My heart stops. I haven't casted in front of him before. How does he know? What makes you say that?
Well, it takes a very skilled mage to be able to train into a Mage-Knight.
I laugh nervously. All right. Of course.
Hey, what are you guys up to?
Help me! I look up to see Leanna standing behind me. She grins with her hands on her hips. Bits of her hair is sparkling from Amelia's ice magic. Just chatting. I shoot to a stand. Probably a little too fast. But I'm eager to get out of this conversation as quickly as possible. I'm feeling a bit tired, so I think I'm going to turn in early. Gingalain inclines his head.
Thanks for humoring this, old bard.
Anytime, please don't ask me any more questions. I nod and shuffle over to the bedrolls. I see Leanna take my newly vacant seat. The Pongo bounces over to me, shimmering from the magic. You know it's time for bed, too.
Boy!
Did you have a good time?
Boy!
That's a yes. I'm glad you did. He jumps up and down, mimicking flying. I saw that. You did fly.
Boy!
He jiggles happily and nestles in beside me. It isn't too long before I hear the others start to wind down for the night. I guess I really was more tired than I thought because I soon fall asleep to the warm glow of the fire. Crazy old bard. Asking me all them questions. Asking all them questions. That I don't really know the answers for. Someone is shaking me. I groan and blink awake. Everything still looks fuzzy. It's still dark out. Time is it? Blurry shape hovers over my face. I'm shaking again. Harder this time. Someone's looking to get hit. What? I groan and blink again, squinting. Takes a few minutes for my eyes to adjust. Amy?
Yes, good evening.
What do you want, girl? She doesn't move. Her face is blank but expectant. What's up?
I wish to be with you in private.
What? Come again? And why is this music playing? What do you want? I have a girlfriend. You are too young. Heck yeah. Why is that an option? Is everything okay? All right. We're going to go with is everything okay? Because, really? I'm curious, but really? You're too young, and I have a girlfriend? That should be a statement, not a question, but everything okay? It must be important to be waking me up. This is the first time Amy has sought me out. Something must really be on her mind. Are you alright?
Yes, there is a matter I wish to discuss with you.
And it couldn't wait until morning? Okay. Give me a second. I slip out of my bedroll and stand beside her.
Please, come this way.
What is going on? She turns on her heel and, with a twirl of her cloak, and leads me off to the side, far away from the camp and the rest of the group. So, what is it?
I have been pondering the possibility for you casting without the use of a manipulator.
Oh?
I believe it may be because you have absorbed the magic from the elementals directly. That reservoir of magic has been within you since the Fire Temple, and it has merely been a matter of unlocking your potential to cast from within to utilize the energy.
It's an interesting theory you've got there. Go on.
The harrowing situation on the beach provided it is possible for you to channel from within. After having ample time to think, I believe it will be simple for you to pull that energy again. If this is the case, then perhaps you are able to cast more than one element.
My eyebrows knit together. More than one? She nods.
Thus far, you have only manipulated wind energy. That would lead me to the conclusion that despite using the energy you absorbed, you were only using wind energy. If my theory is correct, I believe you may have untapped magic gathered inside you, those of the other elements. It is only a matter of bringing that magic to the surface. Have you attempted to use another element before?
No. I shake my head. No. Leanna's just been teaching me wind magic.
I see. Then allow me to show you to use fire magic.
Ooh, we get to set things on fire now. What, like, right now? She nods and raises her hand. Flames blaze up and curl inside her palm. Red and orange light flickers across her face. Whoa! That's awesome. Amelia doesn't smile, but I can see a spark of pride flicker behind her eyes. She closes her fist. The flames crackle between her fingers before flickering out with a puff of smoke. Now, it's your turn. Okay. How do I do it? It is quite simple. Imagine the fire surging throughout your body. Imagine it flowing up your arm and into your palm. If done correctly, a small flame should appear. Okay, so you go boom, and then fire, right? That's how it works. You just go fire. Got it. I nod and try to do as she says. I hold up my hand and close my eyes. My brows knit together in concentration. I picture flames coursing through my veins and out into my hand. A teasing warmth tingles down to the tips of my fingers, but nothing happens. I open my eyes, frowning. It isn't working. She crosses her arms.
This is a simple cast. Do not give up so easily.
Yeah, but maybe for me it's not so simple. It took me some time to learn wind magic. She blinks.
Yes, but this is not wind magic.
Really? Fire magic isn't wind magic. Stop the fucking presses.
Perhaps we need a different approach.
She pauses and taps her chin.
You mentioned that absorbing each individual elemental energy gave you a different sensation. Perhaps we should focus on the emotional response you felt.
Not a bad idea. The emotion. She nods. It's worth a try. Closing my eyes, I remember the fire elemental. I remember the courage and strength that rushed through me at her touch. The feeling gathers inside of my chest, coiling like a hot band of scarlet. I reach out and latch onto it. A crackling, sparkling warmth bursts down my arm. I open my eyes. Red sparks fizz across my fingertips. A huge grin splits my face. Whoa! Amelia calmly nods.
Try snapping your fingers.
Like that? I do. A tiny flame hisses and crisps, expanding into a larger one. I'm so excited I almost start laughing. Sweet! She glances at the small flame and then nods.
Yes, good. Now, let's try this.
Wait, what? The tiny flame puffs out. There's more. Amelia blinks.
Of course, you have only succeeded in creating a basic fire spell. As such, there's still more work to be done.
How about I work on perfecting this one first? She's a lot stricter than Leanna. I hadn't realized how encouraging it was to have a mentor who shared in the excitement of my accomplishments until now.
If my hypothesis is correct, you should be able to combine your wind magic along with your fire magic.
This sounds like a bad idea for one reason. This is going to cause the entire area we're in to go up in flames because I can't really control it that well. Casting at the same time?
Correct. It is the same as any other cast. Focus on channeling your energy through your hand again. If it is easier, perhaps it would be best to summon the wind magic first and add the fire afterwards.
Amy waits for me to try, but I shake my head. Isn't this what mage casters do?
Yes.
And doesn't it take years of schooling to become a mage caster student? Even more than it takes to become a full-fledged Mage-Knight?
That is also correct.
What makes you think I'll be able to do it with no training and a rudimentary understanding of a single element casting?
Your ability for learning is already expedited when you consider the length of time it took you to learn how to cast at all.
I hate it when she has a good point.
Understanding those timelines, it does not seem unlikely that you would be able to quickly accumulate to double element casting.
Okay, I'll give it a try then. Reluctantly, I extend my hand. Instantly, a cool wind pours from my palm. Amelia's pigtails flutter in the soft breeze.
Good. Now add the fire magic.
This sounds dangerous. How?
The same way you would normally cast fire.
Seeing as I've done this once, how am I supposed to feel that same strength with fire and the feeling of freedom and weightlessness with wind? Searching within, I try to balance those two feelings and combine them into one. A moment later, that familiar tingling sensation murmurs down my arm. Heat sparks across my fingertips. Fire, larger this time, blazes into turrets around my hand and wrist. I jolt back, expecting for it to burn, but it doesn't. The wind groans and wisps around the flames, fanning them larger and larger.
Stop.
I do. The fire and wind sputter out, and the rest of my strength slips away. My knees buckle, and I gasp, falling backwards against a tree. I slump to the ground like a deflated balloon.
Just as I expected.
I can't believe we actually pulled that off successfully and didn't burn down this entire field. Amelia blinks when she notices me on the ground.
Are you unwell?
I lean my head against the tree. I'll be okay. That was just a lot of energy.
I see.
She pauses, deep in thought.
Such a feat should have taken you significantly longer to learn.
She lifts her gaze back up to my face.
It might be easier for you to channel your energy because you have been absorbing magic directly from the elementals.
That could be.
Your progress seems to be accelerated because you are using energy stored directly from within you, instead of a secondary source, such as a manipulator.
I nod, trying to take all of this information in at once, but my body feels so drained. It's suddenly an effort to keep my eyes open or my limbs up. Amelia glances at me again.
That is enough practice for tonight. Perhaps it would behoove you to get some rest.
I was until you woke me up for this. I let out a yawn. I am pretty tired, and it is still the middle of the night. Her brows knit together in thought. Although, if merely casting two simple spells in conjunction exhausts you to this degree, I do fear how including more elements will affect you. What do you mean?
For you to successfully open a rift, you'll have to engage all of the elements you have absorbed. To cast multiple elements at once may prove fatal if you experience such exhaustion from using just two elements in such a basic cast.
My insides freeze. That's a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it? Amy shrugs.
Of course, this is merely a speculation based on my observations.
Well, granted, the first time we casted wind magic, it did take a little bit out of us as well. And it's since gotten better, so soon we were jumping around the floating isles. Silence fills my head. It's an odd, pounding, fizzing pressure.
Perhaps you will be able to gain the strength to cast all of the elements simultaneously.
What do you mean?
The more you use magic, the more accustomed you become to it. Just like muscles can be strengthened with stamina, your mind can be exercised in such a manner for casting.
How long will that take? She hesitates.
It is no mistake that as you lack the years of training many other casters undertake, you tire much faster than others. At this time, it is difficult for me to estimate that.
My heart sinks. This whole time I've been gathering energy from each of the temples to find a way home. But now there's a chance I won't even survive long enough to make it back? I fall silent. Amy watches me closely and grows uncomfortable with my disappointment. As I mentioned before, this is purely speculation. I nod, barely registering what she says. My head feels numb. Given you are exhausted, it would benefit you to get some rest. Amy hesitates again, as if unsure what to do next. Good night. Night. She turns on her heel and walks back to camp, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I may actually never return home. My friends and family, I may never see them again. My brain vaguely reminds me that I should go to sleep, but my feet are rooted to the ground. There's always the possibility that I may not be able to open a rift and go home, but the hope was always there. It didn't feel like such a real possibility before. Should I even bother trying to cast a rift if the consequences are literally deadly? Maybe I could be happy here on Terra. I think about my travel companions and the adventures we have together. We've only known each other for a short time, but I trust them completely. Plus, the thought of losing Leanna makes me feel empty. My world is so much fuller and brighter when I can see the way her eyes light up when she smiles, or how she plays with her manipulator when she's nervous.
Can't sleep.
You again. I spin around at the voice and see Gingalain leaning against a tree. Oh, you're up. He nods.
I heard a noise which woke me up.
Was Amelia shaking me? I see. It was probably my casting. He peers at me in the dark.
Something on your mind?
No, it's nothing. Neither one of us moves, mostly because I can't.
Of course, how can I expect you to be honest with me when I haven't been fully honest with you?
I knew there was something suspicious about him, especially when he was asking all of those questions. Tensing up, I watch him warily. Honest about what?
The truth is, I had an ulterior motive for joining your group. While I do still believe you'd all make for a fantastic story, I joined to get to know you specifically.
Me? Why me?
I saw you at the beach.
He did see. The blood pounds in my ears. Maybe it's not what I think it is. So, we were all there just hanging out.
I saw you cast without using a manipulator and save that boy.
Crap, he does know. My heart hammers in my chest and I ball my fist. He saw me and he sought me out. He must have been mistaken. That's impossible. Gingalain holds out his hands as a gesture of peace.
Please don't take that the wrong way. What you did was absolutely amazing, and I just wanted to learn more about you, to understand how you did that. I apologize if I came off too strong earlier.
Are you going to tell anyone?
No. I understand what it's like to be different from the norm, and how it can be both something special and a burden.
That is reassuring, though. Slowly, I relax my fists.
I don't blame you for hiding who you truly are. Sometimes that's the safest thing you can do for yourself and others.
I feel like you're still hiding things. Sounds like he's talking from experience. I think back to the story he told earlier in the evening. Maybe there was a lot more truth to it than he let on. Thank you. He cracks a smile.
So, will you tell me where you're actually from now?
I freeze, and he laughs at my bewildered look.
I'm just joking with you. If you ever do want to talk, maybe I can lend a little bit of insight. You don't get to my age without learning a thing or two.
It's always nice to have the experience of others. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks. He nods, then stretches. There's something about Gingalain. Maybe it's because he's new to the party and doesn't really know me yet, or maybe it's because I just really need someone to talk to. But something makes me want to share. The words tumble out of my mouth. Actually, there is something I'd like to ask you. He nods. So, supposing you had a friend who is from somewhere else, and the only way for him to go home is so dangerous, there's a chance he wouldn't survive the journey. Would you still encourage him to take that option? Gingalain rubs his beard thoughtfully.
I would ask this friend what he means by home.
I blink. His friends, his family, his entire life.
Do you think those people would want him to make a life or death decision just to return to them? Or would they feel better knowing he chose the path that would guarantee him a life he could live as he wished?
Wise words from a bard. I never really thought about it like that. But then he'd be stuck in his new world forever. Gingalain shakes his head.
Life is a journey. There is no defined destination. And because of that, there are no right or wrong ways to travel along this journey. Perhaps one day, his journey will be safe. Or he may not want to go back. Perhaps another day, the choice will be made for him. Or he can choose between both.
I feel myself relax as he speaks. He's right. I shouldn't just give up hope just yet because a challenge has been thrown my way. Thanks. That helps a lot.
Just remember that you have people who care about you and will support you in whatever you decide.
No, it's not me. It's,
Hypothetical friend, yes.
that one. He gets it. He winks at me, then stretches again.
Well, I think it's about time I try to get back to sleep.
Yeah, I should try the whole moving thing myself just to see if I can go back to sleep too. I don't want to sleep on this tree. Same here. It feels to me like Gingalain has experienced a lot more than the typical bard. Maybe he's also had to deal with some tough decisions in his life. Either way, he's pretty alright in my book. Just alright, though. That's the big thing. We head back to the rest of our party in silence. Only the gentle breathing of my friends can be heard over our footsteps. As I curl back up into my bedroll, I quickly drift off into a deep sleep. I swear to God, if Amy wakes me up again, I'm gonna be really, really mad. I'm shaken awake again. A soft groan escapes as I blink from the blinding sun. Well, at least this time it's daylight. Leanna hovers over me and I groan softly. That's right. She doesn't know about my impromptu midnight training session. I guess I better get ready to spar. Stifling a yawn, I crawl out of bed and join Leanna out in the field. We practice our sparring until my muscles are sore and Leanna has broken out in a sweat. Neither of us manages to knock the other one down this time, leaving us in a draw. Improvement is being made here. She went from kicking our ass to now it's a draw and she's breaking a sweat now. Nice. When we return to the campsite, Kara and Zack are nowhere to be seen. Oh. Oh my.
Hey, where did Zack and Kara go?
Amelia looks up. She's crouched beside the fire pit with the pongo nestled between her neck and shoulder.
They were not here when I awakened.
Huh. That's weird. Kara usually sleeps in and Zack sticks around to make everyone breakfast. I wonder where they could have gone. Amy sparks a small fire. We hang an iron pot over the flames and Amelia waves her hand. Cool water rushes from her palm and splashes inside. She smiles, pleased with herself, and raises the crackling flame to make the water boil faster. Gingalain watches on with interest at Amy's skill. After a while, I see Zack and Kara approaching us from the distance. As they get closer, I can see Kara retying her chestnut hair into a ponytail. There are a few leaves sticking up in Zack's hair, and by the time they reach us, I notice his face is a little more color than usual. Okay. What happened here? Leanna watches them with a suspicious look, but she doesn't say anything. Amy is too preoccupied with stirring the porridge to notice.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning. Can we make fun of her now? Hi. Kara seems to be in a good mood. I haven't seen her smile this much in a while. Her eyes are brighter, like a cat's. She stands on her tiptoes and picks a few leaves out of Zack's messy hair. Is it just me, or does he have a few extra scrapes than usual? I can see the tail end of a scarlet scratch torn across his collarbone, curling out from underneath the top of his shirt. His coat is a little lopsided too, like he put it on in a hurry. Kara smiles and brushes some of the dirt off his broad shoulders.
Hey.
That's a pleasant hey. I lift an eyebrow. Hey, where did you guys go? Zack's face starts to flush.
We went hunting for breakfast.
Where is it? I raise an eyebrow again. So where is it? Zack blinks.
Oh.
Got him! The blush brightens in his cheeks.
I ate it already.
Jackass. Kara's gaze slides up to Zack's face. The corner of her mouth tugs upwards.
You sure did do some eating.
I choke and mask it into a cough. Leanna looks confused.
What did you eat?
Okay. All right. Oh, man. Care to answer the question, Zack? Zack's cheeks seem to have gone up in flames. His face is ruby red. He avoids eye contact and forces out an uncontrollable cough. Amelia finally looks up from our breakfast and stares at the scene. She glances between Zack and Kara, then back at Zack. Her gaze lingers. Zack shifts under her stare, clearly uncomfortable. Amy's eyes seem to be boring into his skin. After a long silence, she tilts her head.
Zack, you appear to be injured.
Zack blinks.
What?
She points.
You have a slight abrasion on your neck.
He chokes and shoves the collar of his jacket up to cover his throat, but to no avail. I can still see it.
Don't worry about it. The hunt just got a little rough.
Oh my. Leanna glances to where Amelia is pointing. A second later, her face grows pink.
Oh, Kara!
Kara feigns innocence, but the entire time we're sitting here laughing hysterically.
What?
You know what?
I really don't have the faintest idea.
Her eyes are full of mirth as Leanna fidgets.
Never mind. Maybe the rest of us should just eat too.
Her eyes flick to Kara's smirk.
I mean, eat a meal!
I wasn't opposed to the idea. As opposed to...
As opposed to nothing! That's why I said a meal!
You can explain it to the small child. Gingalain looks from Kara to Zack to Leanna's burning face and bursts out into laughter.
I can tell this is going to be fun.
It's like this all the time, Gingalain. You're gonna love it. Zack brushes past him as he reaches for the plates. Kara's a step behind him. Gingalain leaves and returns with a few walnuts and berries. He adds them into our porridge for some extra flavor. I have to admit, it'd be pretty bland without them. The rest of breakfast is passed in uncomfortable silence. Kara casts long glances at Zack, who pretends not to notice. Leanna looks at anyone but the two of them, while Amy seems as oblivious as ever, as it should be. Only Gingalain seems to be thoroughly enjoying himself. Once breakfast is over, we clean up the camp and continue on our way to the water temple. Oh, the two of them. Hey, at least something finally happened, right? Did we finally get it? The path crunches under our feet. The sky is clear, and the sun scatters its fingers like crowns over the tops of the trees. I can see mountains in the distance, the jagged ridges sprawled out along the horizon like ocean waves. When I start to break out into a slight sweat, we find ourselves surrounded by the mountains. I gaze up at the range of sharp peaks like dragon teeth. Others disappear high into the clouds. We stop in the hollow of a mountain. The air smells of jasmine and salt. I pause, my eyes falling on a wide cave mouth. Is that the entrance? Gingalain beams.
Yes, this is it.
We cautiously enter the cavernous entrance. Holy crap, is this beautiful! Blue light flickers across the cave wall as a faint glow. Let me try this whole sentence one more time. Blue light flickers across the cave wall as a faint glows radiate. Okay. I wanted to make sure I read that right. That was just a weird phrase. I take another look and see a large staircase leading down into deep, dark water. Wait a second. Are we going underwater? Gingalain nods.
Yes, sir. These steps will lead us to an underwater tunnel, which will take us to the temple.
I knew I should have kept my swimsuit. Underwater tunnels are a whole lot of nope. Good thing I swim like a fish. It's fine. I do have some swimming ones, so good thing I swim like a fish. That pun is terrible. Leanna frowns.
Do you know how deep this tunnel goes? It could be dangerous.
That's true, but we are currently out of options.
We sure are.
High five! No, I don't. No, don't. We're gonna have some words later. I wish we knew what else we could do. Kara and I share a grin. Zack face palms while Leanna's mouth flattens.
Really?
Why are you surprised by this? I've been traveling with you for how long and this is new to you?
Perhaps my water magic could be of assistance.
Gingalain looks at her and grins.
We are fortunate to have a mage caster with us who can manipulate water.
We are very lucky at that point. He closes his eyes and puts a hand over his chest.
With a mere twist of the wrist, she bends the sea to her will, and to the wave which dare defies her, her ice will freeze it still.
Leanna's eyes light up.
That was beautiful.
So his storytelling's better than my lame puns. Okay, lame puns, never mind. She claps. Gingalain smiles, earnest and embarrassed.
Oh, do you think so? Perhaps I should write it down.
You should. Maybe it can go into your new poem.
Are you guys ready? Leanna nods.
Yep, lead the way.
Amy, you first! Gingalain leads us down the stairs. Barnacles, seaweed, and mussels cling to the dark gray stones. The water ripples at our feet. As I look out, it only becomes deeper. Amy steps forward, her manipulators glowing.
Do the stairs continue to descend?
I'll admit I'm uncertain.
It is of no matter. We shall soon discover the answer.
Nothing like finding the answer to a problem by trying it out head on.
Please continue.
She waves her arms in the air as Gingalain takes a step forward in the water. It moves out of the way of his boot. His grin broadens as the water flows around him, keeping him wrapped in a dry bubble.
What do you know? There are more stairs.
Amelia remains in the back with her manipulators glowing. We travel ahead of her and continue down the stairs. As we descend further down, I glance up at the shimmering water which slips easily around us. Small schools of fish scurry past, bobbing as they swim around us. This music turned eerie all of a sudden. Soon the stairs level out. We follow a shallow corridor which opens up into a mouth of a large cavern. Several tunnels branch off in different directions around the cavern, but It's too dark inside to see where they may go. Wow. That's so cool. Now my big question is this still underwater, or is this not in water at all? Blue crystals glitter all across the cavern. Some cling to the ceiling like icicles, while others are spread across the walls like frost.
Boy?
The Pongo pops his head out from the inside of Amelia's pouch. His eyes light up in wonder.
Boy!
Water crystals.
What? She points to something behind me. Amelia crosses to a few crystals that are glowing along the ground. She fidgets with her bracelets, the symbols lighting up as she scans them. Fascinating. What is?
These water crystals are mineral ore. One can use them to create spheres.
If that's the case, then how come no one else has come here to mine them? Amelia doesn't even turn around to face me, completely absorbed with the crystals.
This place has been lost to knowledge.
She touches one of the crystals. Her bracelets glow firelight bright. Ice creaks underneath her touch, and then I hear a sharp snap. A bit of the sapphire cracks off and her eyes brighten. She holds up a piece, examining it from side to side. I'm confused. We've seen crystals before. They're all over, powering up every single city we've been to. Is there something special about water crystals? Amelia shakes her head.
Crystals near temples are a rarity. I will use this one to study for further research.
Boy?
If you eat it, I swear to God, dude. The Pongo leaps out of her pouch and nibbles on a large crystal. He wobbles, obviously content. Leanna, Zack, and Kara wander around and check out the crystals. Their deep blue reflects off the water and sparkle dancing lights across the cavern space. It reminds me of a disco ball. The effect is a bit mesmerizing. Gingalain turns down one of the tunnels.
The temple should be down here.
I look to where he's going. Something flickers in the depths of one of the tunnels. Something silvery and bright. I follow Gingalain to the tunnel when my shoulder bumps into a slick surface. Ow! My brow furrows. We're inside a cave, so why was the wall so smooth? I reach up and touch cool glass. A mirror? I look around. No! A whole room full of mirrors. My breath catches in my throat. Hundreds of reflections blink back at me. Guys, are you seeing this? No response. Guys? I turn around. No one is there. I notice the walls in our previous path are also lined with mirrors. How did I walk through that without noticing before? Did the others do the same? They could have gone anywhere. This wasn't just a room. It was a maze. Everywhere I turn, I see myself. I run my hands over the mirrors to keep myself grounded, but with so many reflections, I have a hard time keeping track of where I'm going. It just feels like I'm going in circles. I let out a small growl of frustration, turning around. Something purple flashes from the corner of my eye, then something white.
Hey, is that you?
Kara? I turn to see her and Leanna standing at the end of one of the paths. Kara grins and waves at me. I grin back, excitement flooding into my chest. Finally! I dash towards them. And slam face first straight into a mirror. I lurch backwards, cupping my nose. I hear footsteps behind me.
Are you alright?
A blush crawls onto my face. Yeah. My nose throbs with pain, but I didn't hit the wall hard enough to leave any real damage.
It was hard traveling through this maze for me, too.
The three of us jump and whirl around. Amelia cocks her head and stares at me. Where did you come from?
I followed your voices and found you all here.
Oh. Did you see the others? Her gaze lingers on me again. No. Leanna twists her hands nervously.
I really don't like the look of this place. The mirrors are so creepy.
It really is. It's kind of trippy, too. Maybe we should find a way out.
What about Zack and Gingalain?
We might run into them. Either way, it's better than just standing here admiring ourselves in the mirror.
Sounds like a plan.
We twist in and out of the maze. For a while, it feels like we're making progress. We go down a long path leading straight to... Kara sighs.
Dead end.
She places her hand on the mirror in front of us.
This is going to take forever.
Wait,
I look up. Something shimmers inside of the mirror. Foggy at first, but then it slowly becomes clear. Letters brighten to form together to create a single word. Us. Kara blinks.
That's it? Just us?
She frowns, resting a hand on her hip.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
Something to do with us.
Do you think there are more words hidden out here?
Probably.
That would make sense if there'd be more words. I glance at Amelia, who wears an intense stare. What do you think, Amy? She shrugs, but otherwise doesn't answer. I guess we move on then. We turn around and try again. The second one takes us longer to find. We keep twisting and turning in circles before Leanna ultimately reaches out and accidentally pats against a solid mirror at the end of a corridor. The letters breathe and flare up again. They form a new word.
Among...
Okay. Leanna frowns, her brows crinkling together.
Us and among? What does that mean?
Probably among us, I'm thinking. They're really stressing something that has to do with us. I'm not sure I like the sound of that.
There are probably some more words out there we need to find to make sense of this.
Amy hangs back again and watches silently. She feels my eyes on her and shifts her gaze onto me. I feel like her stare is a challenge, but I don't know why.
Can you make any sense out of this, Amy? You're usually really good with puzzles.
Amelia tears her gaze off of me and looks at Kara instead.
I don't know. They just seem like random words to me.
Kara blinks.
Right, but do you think it means anything?
No idea. Well, this is still a dead end, so let's move on. Amy's got me suspicious. We turn around again, bumping into even more mirrors. I keep getting turned around. Are we walking in the same halls or going down new corridors? My hands reach out and skim across the silver mirrors as we walk. Amy remains silent and seemingly unconcerned. Her gaze continues to bore into me, making me even more nervous than I already feel. We come to another dead end in which more letters slowly appear. Illusion. It's a message. The words are just jumbled up.
Us among illusion?
Among illusion us.
No, it's illusion among us. Leanna frowns, suddenly looking nervous.
So something among us isn't real?
Kara raises her eyebrows.
Yeah, but what?
It's Amy. She's not been responding like she normally does, and I think Pongo's with her too. There was nothing else with us, just each other. Not something. Someone. Leanna flinches.
Maybe, but who would it be?
It's the little one. I'm calling it right now. It's Amelia. I think it's Amy.
What makes you think that?
That responds right there. That is what makes me think that. Her brows crinkle in confusion.
Huh?
You aren't talking like one of my science textbooks. Amy doesn't use contractions or shy away from a challenge. Surprise flickers behind her eyes.
I see.
Plus, you keep staring at me and it's weird. Amy blinks, then a crocodile smile spreads across her face.
Good.
shivers as she steps backwards into a mirror. When I look through, her image dissolves like water into the milky silver of the glass. When I look again, my own reflection stares back at me. The hell? Well, that was unsettling.
No kidding.
The mirrors flash a blinding white. I cringe and cover my eyes as bright spots do acrobats in front of my nose. I hear the sound of something shimmering, and when I look up, I see the maze dissolve into starlight. The tunnel returns to a straight path. We travel down it for a short while before seeing familiar faces.
Oh, it's you guys.
Sup? I blink, my eyes still refocusing from the sudden light. When my vision clears, I see Zack, Amelia, and Gingalain heading our way from across the room. Kara rushes over to Zack. Leanna lets out a loud breath of relief.
Amy, you're okay.
Amelia blinks.
I assume the illusion among your group must have been me.
Yep. Leanna smiles.
Well, in any case, I'm so glad you guys are safe.
Gingalain returns Leanna's smile. So who was their illusion then?
Yes, we are relieved you're all safe too. It's good to be reunited.
As Leanna talks, Zack makes sure to look anywhere except at her. Even Kara narrows her eyes.
Zack, you're acting weird. You're not another illusion, are you?
He prickles and shakes his head.
Nope. I am very much me in the most normal and loyal sense of the word.
What is he on about?
Loyal? What did you do?
Nothing. I told you I was loyal.
Gingalain looks from Zack to Kara and lets out a hearty laugh.
I had not realized it before, Zack, but you seem to be quite the ladies' man. I will be sure to immortalize all that has happened in this most daring tale of...
No!
Out with it, man. Zack's eyes are wide.
I mean, that's really not necessary.
What exactly happened on your side?
Leanna, Gingalain, Zack, and I had to solve a message.
Wait, but Leanna was on our side.
Correct. It was very obvious that the illusion was her.
How so?
No reason.
Do I have to kill you now? I look over at Zack, who's now avoiding eye contact with both Leanna and Kara.
To put it quite bluntly, Leanna attempted to seduce Zack.
I had a feeling. Leanna's face turns crimson red.
What?
Kara turns to Zack.
And you fell for her, hey there, sailor, tactics?
Hey, that freaking works. It worked on me. Zack's face matches Leanna's in redness.
It wasn't like that at all. She was actually good.
Precisely. Her technique was especially effective. That is how we deduced she could not possibly be the real Leanna at all.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. Leanna pouts.
Hey!
I thought the hey there sailor line worked. Kara whirls around to face Leanna.
Why would you do that? I thought we were friends.
God. Leanna's eyes widen. She shakes her head.
No. It wasn't me. It was illusion me. I would never hit on Zack.
Kara frowns.
And why not? Is he not good enough for you?
Huh? I mean, he must be okay if the illusion me hit on him.
I knew it!
I don't understand what's happening.
I don't either, and I'm kind of confused and feeling a little jealous and hurt. My body prickles. The image of Leanna and Zack together coils a hot band of jealousy deep within my gut. Leanna, why? She whirls to face me, looking flabbergasted.
You too?
Leanna lifts her arms into the air, exasperated.
I was literally with you guys the whole time.
Kara and I glare at her suspiciously.
Hey, don't worry. She'd never be able to do what she did back there in real life.
Kara and Leanna stiffen. They turn to face him, eyes hardening into a glare that could slice straight through all of the crystals in the cave. I hope one of them hits him.
Excuse me?
And what exactly did she do back there?
Zack balks. You're trapped now. He takes a step back.
I didn't mean anything.
Gingalain's spine suddenly locks.
Do you all hear that?
No. Kara and Leanna freeze. Everyone stops to listen. There's a sound of rushing water. Is that a waterfall? He nods.
I think so. If we're nearing water, then perhaps we're close to the temple.
That would make sense. We follow the source of the noise. It becomes louder and louder the further we travel. Soon, we come across the temple ruin deep within the cavern. I walk up the steps and into the temple. The others follow. A sapphire pool sits at the center of the room. Waterfalls rush and flow into it as crystals glitter and sparkle all around. I stare at the pool as it begins to ripple and shift. A dark shadow ascends from the depths. This must be the Water Guardian. A little bit of a different style than some of the other ones too. I like the jewelry element to him. The what seems to be wave on her arms and her legs. I like that. A woman rises like a sea nymph, water sluicing down her body. I flinch in surprise. Oh, hi. The woman opens her eyes. A soft smile curves her face. Dark, midnight blue hair flows like wild waves down her lower back. A thin film of water covers her, making her look otherworldly, embraced by the soft glow of the crystals. She must be the water elemental. Her laughter sounds like a stream gurgling over precious pearls. The sound echoes deep within my chest and fills me with a strange calm. As she steps towards me, I take a step back but trip over a loose stone and fall backwards. Undeterred, she extends her hand and gently cups my face. She leans closer to me, and before I knew it, a cool splash of pressure is on my lips. Am I getting kissed by a elemental? This just got weird. My eyes automatically close as I drink in her energy. She tastes like pure spring water, and I feel a stream of energy flow into me, crisp and fluid. All too soon, the feeling ceases, and when I open my eyes, she's gone. Leanna hovers over me. I gasp when I see her, and against my will, a blush blossoms in my cheeks. Oh, hi, Leanna.
Did you just have an encounter with the elemental?
Yes.
How did it go?
Business as usual. Business as usual. That's not. We've already had another sense of this today. We're gonna business as usual. Oh, well, pretty well actually. Just business as usual. She gives me a strange look.
Uh-huh. And why exactly are you on the ground?
I tripped. Just standard energy transfer procedure. She crosses her arms. That didn't work. Now she definitely knows something is up. Amelia steps up to me and performs a scan with her manipulator. Thank you for saving me, Amy. She hovers by my face and her brows cease into a frown.
How very curious.
What?
My scan reports an unusually high concentration of energy on your lips.
Shit, I'm in trouble. Leanna blinks before her eyes widen.
You kissed her?
No! It's all a misunderstanding.
Your lips didn't touch together to transfer the energy then?
Well...
They did?
Not like I had a choice. She was already transferring the energy.
I can't believe you.
Yes, you can. Hey, I'm the victim here. Besides, you flirted with Zack.
That was different. It wasn't even me.
And the elemental isn't even real. Luckily, Kara and Zack return, their packs heavy with items. Gingalain returns too, although he remains empty-handed.
What's this about kissing an elemental?
Nothing. I scramble to my feet. I think we've spent enough time here already and should get going. Gingalain hides his laughter and nods.
Yes, let us be on our way.
Leanna and Amy lead the way out of the temple while Gingalain and I follow close behind. Kara and Zack take one last scan of the area. Afterwards, they follow us out and we start heading back the way we came. Without the illusion test, the exit is just a clear path down the tunnel. Thank goodness. The maze has completely disappeared. I guess the Guardian was the one who put the maze in as a part of their trial. As we travel through the tunnel, I freeze when I hear the faint sound of voices. Catching Leanna's eye, she wordlessly motions for us to stay low. Zack responds with an imperceptible nod. We creep down carefully towards the mouth of the tunnel and hide behind the towering stalagmites. Kara, Zack, and Gingalain are on one side, while Leanna, Amy, and I are on the other. The Pongo flattens himself as low as possible on the ground. Peeking around the corner, I see a group of about a dozen people or so bustling back and forth. The clinking of pickaxes echo through the cave, and some of the men chip at the rocks. One of the men removes the luminescent crystal from the cave side and carries it over to a receptacle. They're collecting water crystals. Leanna and Amelia look equally concerned. Leanna already has her manipulator ready for a scan. When she sees the results, her jaw clenches. She shows Amy, who frowns, and we will find out the results of that scan next time. I will end the episode here. It has been quite a day. Leave it on a suspenseful note. As always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to let me know by hitting the like button down below or leaving a comment, and I will see all you heroes in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.